What's going on, all you beautiful fuckers, and welcome back. Guys, yesterday's video showed us a lot of different stuff. We already talked about Poison Ivy, and now we gotta talk about the gear sets. Guys, the gear sets in the game, if we don't already know, shit, I can't talk. If we don't already know, they're villain themed, alright? We have certain gear sets that are themed around villains. We already seen some gear sets themed around Bane. They said there's a Bane Rage set, and you could see right here all the Bane gear being used in combat right now. And then over here, we also got the Bulletstorm effect from Black Mask, and then we have Heat Wave, as said in the captions, guys. We have Bane, Black Mask, and Flash's villain, Heat Wave, in this game for their gear sets. So we already have 3 confirmed gear sets for all these different DC villains, Bane, Black Mask, and Heat Wave. So there's going to be more gear sets. So we got to think about what villains there's going to be and what status effects will probably be tied into these certain villains. So I feel like it's easier to tie into the certain status effect first. So if we think of certain status effects, we can go from all the above, right? So from the videos we've seen, we know there is freeze status effects. We have the fire status effects, we have the poison status effects or whatever it is from Bane, and then there's the electric status effects. But I don't think these are gear sets, guys. Some of these can be argued, some of these are afflictions or some of these are gear sets, but it doesn't matter because here's the thing, afflictions and gear sets are all villain themed. In yesterday's video, they were talking about afflictions, and afflictions, there are 4 afflictions and they are all tied to certain DC characters. There's the fire affliction, and that's called the Diablo Blaze, guys. El Diablo from Suicide Squad 2016. He is confirmed to have some tie into this affliction right here with the fire, alright? So that's pretty cool. And then we got the freeze, of course. This freeze I can only imagine is Mr. Freeze. Some people would probably argue it's Captain Cold, but guys, come on, Mr. Freeze, with him being such an iconic Batman villain, and in my opinion, the best Batman Arkham boss fight from Arkham City, I think he's such an important character, and I think it would be so cool if he was tied into this rather than Captain Cold. So that's already 2 out of 4 afflictions done, and there's already 2 more. There's lightning, and then there's this green one. I can't tell what this green is. Is it supposed to be poison? Is it supposed to be venom from Bane? Is it supposed to be some earth, like the 4 elements, the fire, earth, wind, water? Oh, there's no wind, but yeah, like this green. I can't tell what it is. I'm assuming it's poison from Bane or something. So yeah, this is probably Bane if I had to guess, because this is all villain themed. Poison Ivy's already in the game, so it could make sense for this to be the default plant. This is Poison Ivy's poison plant and all that, or it could be Bane. It doesn't matter. Fuck, this is hard, guys. I'm telling you, it's either Bane or Poison Ivy. It doesn't matter. So there's that one, and then there's this one over here. There's the lightning plant, and this lightning plant, I can only think of, 2 people. Yeah, I can only think of 2 people for this lightning plant. So for this lightning plant, you got to think about the DC villains, right? You got to think about the people who have electric powers, and I can only think of 2. There's, okay, so yeah, here we go. One option I thought of is Livewire, okay? Superman villain. She's a pretty popular one. She's from the animated series and all that. Livewire is a pretty good guess, and I personally think this could be Livewire. And then the other option is Electrocutioner. I know all of you love Electrocutioner, and it possibly has the best boss fight in all of the Arkham games. This is Electrocutioner's thing right here. It could be, but here's the thing. I kind of doubt it. I'm leaning towards Livewire more. I'm sure this game wants to dive into all these different characters, people who have been in the Suicide Squad, people who are like in all these different enemies and all that, to the heroes and all that. So we already have some villains who have their own gear sets and afflictions, and they're enemies to Batman. So we got to think of some people who could possibly be shared with upon the other heroes. So we already have Heat Wave, all right? We have Heat Wave for, what is it, Flash. And is Heat Wave a Superman? I don't think so. And then there's Diablo. He's a Suicide Squad. Okay, so yeah, I think this is a good one. Livewire, electric powers. I can't think of anyone else besides Electrocutioner. Electrocutioner's already been in the Arkham games, but I'm leaning towards Livewire. Tell me what you guys think, though. So this is the general breakdown. We have the 4 afflictions, and we have the fire, that's tied to El Diablo. We have the freeze, that's Mr. Freeze or Captain Cold. I think Mr. Freeze. And then this one, this, what is it? This poison or whatever. I'm assuming it's either Bane or Poison Ivy. And then this fire one, this is, or not this fire, this lightning one, it's either Livewire or yeah, Electrocutioner. I'm voting for Livewire, though. So those are the afflictions done, guys. We did the 4 afflictions, and now we gotta move on over to the gear sets. This video is about the gear sets? No, it's not about the gear sets. It's about all the above. It's about the DC villains and what DC villains will be tied into the afflictions and the gear sets. For the gear sets, we already know there's Bane, there's Black Mask, and there's Heat Wave. So we gotta think about other status effects and what villains could be tied to those. So I'm thinking of stereotypical normal side effects that are in a lot of video games. So we already have, what is it? Venom. What is Venom? Is this like poison or something like that? I don't know. So there's Venom, there's bullets from Black Mask apparently, and then what is it? There's a fire from Heat Wave. So we got to think about other status effects. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's gear sets for status effects that are like freeze or electric. We already know that those 2 are for afflictions. Are they for gear sets? Possibly. And for freeze, obviously, I'm gonna go with Mr. Freeze again. And then for electric, I'm gonna go with the Livewire. So we already have those down. So let's think of more status effects. So I was thinking about what status effects could be used in this game, and I was watching other videos from other people giving their own thoughts and opinions on what villains they think will be tied to this gear set and what villain will be tied into that affliction and all that. Out of all the videos I watched, there's two videos that I actually share a lot of opinions with, and it's this video right here and this video right here. Both of these guys are really great YouTubers and they both make some good content. Both of these videos are good, and I do share some opinions with them on the videos they made. So after watching these videos, I finally had down what status effects could be used in the game, and I'll give them all to you right now. So I was thinking of fear, obviously. So there's fear status effects, there's bleed status effects, and there's possibly stun status effects. There's air status effects, and then there's earth/poison status effects. I'm not sure. So that's already 10 status effects I can think of, guys. There's bleed, there's freeze, there's electric, there's venom, there's fire, there's bullets, there's fear, there's fear, there's stun, there's air, and then there's earth/poison. I'm not sure exactly. That was, so yeah, so some of these are very obviously wild guesses, and those are 10. Those are 10 elemental status effects right there for you guys, and some of them, I'm sure a lot of these probably won't be in here, but there's no harm in trying. There's no harm in guessing. That's the whole fun of it, guys. So yeah, these are the status effects I thought of: bleed, freeze, electric, venom, fire, bullets, fear, stun, air, earth/poison. I already shared my thoughts on what villains I think could be for some of these certain status effects, like freeze with Mr. Freeze, electric, live wire, venom is Bane, there's fire, there's heat wave, or Diablo. Well, Diablo's for the Diablo's for the affliction, and heat wave is for the, what is it, the gear set, and then bullets is black mask. If there's other status effects you guys can think of, make sure to tell me down below in the comments, because I'm really trying to guess hard here with some of these. Some of these are just out of the blue completely. So I'm going to start with bleed here. So for bleed, I was thinking of what villains could imply or inflict bleed damage. What is it? King Greek's video right here, he talks about Man-Bat, and I think Man-Bat's a unique guess, a good guess. He's already part of the Arkhamverse. So I personally don't think it's Man-Bat. A villain that I think would be perfect for bleed, I actually think Cheetah is the best answer for who can inflict bleed damage. I know there's bullets that do like bullets penetrate you and all that, and what is it? Bullets like make you bleed and all, but you know what I'm talking about, guys. Like it deals bleed damage and the enemies are bleeding. I think Cheetah is a good one. Maybe some cat claws are above their head, telling the people who are playing the game that they're inflicting bleed damage on them and they're currently bleeding and dying out right now. So I think Cheetah is a good guess. Wonder Woman doesn't have any villains who have any unique gear set yet. Cheetah is the most popular Wonder Woman villain, and she's a pretty popular villain in DC in general. So I think Cheetah is a perfect guess for bleed. And then for fear, guys, fear, I mean, there's Scarecrow, obviously. Scarecrow, I think, is a very obvious one for fear. And how could you put fear into this game? Well, it's like I said in King Greek's video, he also talks about in Gotham Knights how the enemies run away from you out of fear if you have enough fear built up in them. So I think that's a unique way of thinking about it. I don't know if that'll be a thing, though. It could be. And what is it? In this video, Dakar's World, he talks about Sinestro gear sets and how you could possibly use Sinestro gear sets against Green Lantern in his boss fight. What is the enemy against Will? What is the enemy against the green ring and all that? It's fear. It's yellow. It's all of that. So that's a unique guess from Dakar's World. There's Sinestro or Scarecrow. It's either or. Maybe Scarecrow damage and does the same thing. Sinestro could do damage to Green Lantern or Scarecrow. It doesn't matter because they're both fear, right? So I think both of these are actually very good guesses. Scarecrow and Sinestro. Sinestro doesn't have any, or what is it? Yeah, Green Lantern doesn't have any villains who have a gear set yet, so I think Sinestro is a good one. Maybe that could beat him in his boss fight, like Dakar's World said. And then, so yeah, there's those two. I might be leaning a bit more towards Scarecrow, if I had to be honest, with fear and all that, and the Arkham and how big he was in Arkham Knight. And then for the other abilities we have, or the other effects we have stun, air, earth/poison. So these I just pulled out of my ass, if I'm being completely honest. I was thinking about, can we get to 10 status effects? Sure. Let's just add in the 4 elements. There's fire, water, earth, and then there's wind or air, whatever. So for air, I thought of a Weather Wizard for the Flash. I can't think of any other villain who's weather themed or air themed, so I think Weather Wizard is a very obvious guess, if that is a ability included at all. How would this air ability work? I don't know. Maybe they're just like flying in a tornado once the effect is caused, or maybe they get blown back and they get pushed on their ass after the bullets hit them with like the wind pushback or something. I don't know. And then for stun right here, I was thinking of, this was a hard one. I didn't know what villains could be for stun. So for stun, I actually thought of Silver Banshee, another Superman villain, and she screams and she stuns you. You cover your ears and all that. So I think that's a good one. If you stun, deal stun damage with your guns, I feel like the enemies could like be disoriented and they could be like dizzy and they could be covering their ears and all that, and they're just like stunned essentially, and you could do damage. Like the Silver Banshee bullets do like stun damage. I don't know. These are all guesses here, guys. There's no harm in trying. And then the last one, this one is very similar to Bane actually. I don't know if Bane, his status effect, I don't know if it's like a venom themed or poison themed. I don't know, probably both. This one, most likely isn't the case, but what is it? I thought of earth/poison, because like the 4 elements, there's earth, and then poison, I guess. Like poison ivy is who I thought of for this one, earth/poison. This one's probably not, it's probably going to be 8 instead of 10 elemental effects. There's probably going to be 8 status effects instead. So, but yeah, I think 10 was a solid number, and I thought of this one right here. I thought of poison ivy for earth/poison. If there's any other status effects, maybe you could get to 12 or 15. You guys lie it down in the comments below and tell me what you think. So in this video, I said a lot. There's a lot to go over, but let me just give you a general breakdown and a general overview of what I was talking about throughout this video. So we were guessing all these different villains and what status effects they could be used for. There's afflictions, and then there's gear sets. I thought of 10 gear sets. There might not be 10 gear sets, but for the sake of this video, I thought of 10 possible gear sets, and I thought of the 4 afflictions. We know there's 4 afflictions. There's 4 afflictions, and I thought of 10 elemental effects for the gear sets, all right? For the afflictions, there's the freeze affliction for Mr. Freeze. There's the fire affliction for Diablo. There's the green venom affliction for Bane by the looks of it, and then there's the electric affliction for Livewire. And then for the 10 elemental effects for the gear sets, I thought of bleed for Cheetah. I thought of freeze for Mr. Freeze. I thought of electric for Livewire. I thought of venom for Bane. I thought of fire for Heatwave. I thought of bullets for Black Mask. I thought of fear for Scarecrow or Sinestro. Both are good guesses. I thought of stun for Silver Banshee. I thought of air for Weather Wizard, and I thought of earth/poison for Poison Ivy. I know I just said I thought of this status effect for this villain, that villain. Half of these are already confirmed, and my other 5 are just guesses. So these 5 are confirmed, and these 5 are my guesses. I want to know if you guys agree with me or not. Let me know in the comments down below. Like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more Suicide Squad content. I'll see you next time, you beautiful bitches.